I'm going to suggest to you what may actually be true is that people don't resist change. They resist change for which they see no purpose or for which they feel uninvolved. You see, I think when people know why we're doing change and they don't feel like they're victims, most people will step up. You doubt this? How many of you parents in the room? How many of you were children at some time in your life? All right? Besides mom and dad, what's one of the first words our children learn? No. People are so good at it. No, right? Not your way, my way. What's the three-letter word they learn really early on? Why? Why do I have to go to bed? Why is the sky blue? Why did I get you for a dad? Oh, was it only my kids that said that? As human beings, we naturally want to be involved. Client of mine, AES Corporation, one of the largest power companies in the world in 18 different countries all over the world. One of the things they did when they do surveys of employee values all over the world, what do you value at work? The one value that they have found is cross-cultural is choice, autonomy. When people feel involved in every culture, they act differently. Now, what's the real moral to this story? Number one moral as leaders, we often keep information back instead of putting it all out on the table. Here's why we have to transform. Second thing is we don't work long enough with the why. We have one decide and announce moment when we tell people why, and then we think they got it, but they don't got it. We actually have to keep selling the why. And the second thing is no matter what the change is, ask how can we involve people in it. I'll give you one simple example. I got one client had to cut every budget in their entire company this last quarter by 6%. And every department, every leader had that, you got to cut your budget by 6%. A group of 6 leaders of rather large departments got together and said, we want to do this differently than every other department. Because every other department was doing the typical leadership stuff. The leaders go off, have shrimp cocktails somewhere. They come back and announce the changes, meeting with massive resistance. They said, we're going to go to our people and say, here's the deal. We have to cut 6%. It is not negotiable. But everything else about how we cut the 6% is negotiable. And they involved their people in every decision they made. They said, I'm the boss at the end. I got to make the decision. But I'm going to get full input from you to make the decision. Truth in advertising, we got to cut 6%. Not only did every department cut 6%, 2 of them cut over 8% with almost no resistance to the change. Every other department in the entire company, significant resistance to the 6% cut. Something happens when you give people a seat at the table. Now, by the way, you might ask, the second reason, by the way, people said I don't step up at work, is they say I did step up, but my ideas were too easily dismissed, or I got slapped on the hand for stepping up. And by the way, one of my clients, WestJet, the kind of Southwest Airlines of Canada, based their whole model on them. One of the things I love at WestJet, like the Four Seasons, which is a client of mine, if you want responsibility, you give responsibility. That's why at WestJet, they have guidelines, not rules. So all their agents have no rules, only guidelines, except for safety. Everything is a guideline, not a rule, because when you give people responsibility, they take responsibility.